Welcome to Unity Inspired Living. Our community began in 1989 as a small worldwide Unity book study group, and we've continued the momentum as an ever-evolving spiritual community. Each Sunday, you will find dynamic thought leaders delivering inspiring messages and talented musicians sharing sound healing through their melody. Here, we embrace ancient spiritual traditions, universal truths, and emerging wisdom. Let's check out this Sunday message. We're so grateful you've joined us. My name is Amy Van Ling, and it is my joy to be here each week with you. I'm so grateful to be in loving service as a spiritual director of this unique, exceptional, dynamic community, sharing a powerful experience with you every Sunday. We are truly many voices sharing inspiration, activating the frequency of love. We are a space in consciousness where the invitation is to dive deeper into oneness with spirit, into infinite possibilities, into renewal, rebirth, wisdom, and experience the wholeness of our divinity, the profoundness of our authentic nature when we're walking in our truth. So blessings to you upon this Easter day, beloveds. Welcome into our space. So grateful that you're here. I see you tuning in on Facebook Live. Easter holds profound significance, for us. The resurrection of Jesus, as we know, a symbolic representation of spiritual awakening, if you will, transformation. And just as, the story goes, Jesus rose from the tomb, so can we, each individual, awaken from the limitations, of life, of egoic self, of the world of appearances. And so this resurrection we can lean into, tune into, is the symbol of triumph of the spirit over matter, the material world, love over fear, of eternal life over temporary existence. So thank you for tuning in this Easter morning and realizing that our innate divinity, living from this realization of Jesus's message, our inherent power to transcend the illusion of separation from God and to live in harmony with divine intelligence, God mind, all that is and permeates creation. So thank you for tuning in with us today. And I am so grateful today to bring back, to welcome in the splendid soul, cherished friend to my personal life, a dear friend to our community, a sheer expression of heart, integrity, beauty, just a joy-filled being, Reverend Wendy Silvers, and she is zooming in with us today from the LA area. She's a part of the Agape International Center there in Southern California, and an incredible light in this world, who rises every day to shine. And so she's the perfect being, a soul being, to be sharing our message today, which is rise up and shine your light. She truly lives it. She truly walks her talk. And I'm so grateful to have such powerful, authentic people in the world and here with us this morning. So welcome, Wendy. We're so grateful for your yes on this Easter morning. And there won't be a workshop today, but our link is always open for everybody who wants to connect there. So with deep gratitude, we welcome you, Wendy. Thank you. Thank you. We also have other incredible beings in our Zoom room this morning. We have Ronnie and Ed. They are gifting us with their exceptional music, inspiration, talent, beauty, deep, soulful healing, sound healing for us. So thank you, Ronnie and Ed. Thank you for zooming in from Hawaii today, where it's early in the morning there. It's only 7 a.m. there. So they've been up bright and early for us. Thank you. Thank you. And we also have our one and only extraordinary Jan Knight, our board president, and so much more. She is with us sharing her light, sharing her precious heart and soul, bringing to us our selected inspirational reading this morning, our community announcements, and our prayer of plenitude. Thank you, Jan. So we welcome you, Wendy, Ronnie, Ed, Jan, and I. We welcome you into our space this morning. And as you enter the space, I invite you to take that intentional inward breath of the Spirit, my favorite definition of inspiration. And truly know that you are the face of God, choosing the vibration, the higher vibration, the standard of living and loving and becoming, stepping into that great alignment with God, and allowing yourself to feel into that, tune into that this morning. We want our space to be a fertile ground for that. And our theme this month of March has been Journey with Jesus. And today is the perfect last day of the journey for this month. Of course, the journey goes on and on. So we're just leaning into this activation. Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. And he spoke this of universal spiritual principles and practices that he embodied and exemplified. We've talked about this all month. The way shower, he said, you can do as I do and more, and have all the peace and abundance and bliss, guidance. This truth will set you free from all the limitations from this worldly thinking. So welcome in. It's yours for the taking. We're so grateful that you're in our sacred space. Let me check in with everybody tuning in and tuning within this morning. Hi, Carol. Carol says, I really appreciate the recordings available on YouTube and watch over and over. Wonderful. Great. We love to hear that. Energizing, that energetic exchange. Florence is here. She says, good morning. Pat is here. She says, beautiful morning, transformation every moment. Yes, we affirm. Nancy's here. She says, happy Easter, everyone. So happy to share this day with you. Agree. Carol says, beautiful and amen. Yes. Happy Easter, Jenny. Welcome in, beloved souls. We are so delighted to be here, and so grateful that you're tuning into this reverent space and saying yes and coming in for soul nourishment and activating your truth. So I am going to invite you into this reverent space and to allow you to take a moment here just to tune in to your inner knowing, breathing in the Spirit, tuning into the frequency of the inspired mind of God, and feel into our purpose, which is to be a safe environment for all people to consciously explore their spiritual path, which I say is your life path. Recognize your oneness with God, the Almighty Presence, gain inspiration, insight, and wisdom, and share it with the world. Bring it back. We're here to be emanating the vibration of love, and allowing God to move in, through, and as us, through our lives, through everybody we come in contact with. So thank you for saying a sacred yes to this purpose, this mission, this journey of love. We are going to open up with our community song, and I'd like to invite you into your heart space where music just pops that open for you, open wide, and I invite you to sing along at home. Nobody can hear you, but it really activates such energy and opens your throat chakra and all the good things. So thank you, Ronnie and Ed, for being with us and opening our space this morning. We appreciate you.
Okay, morning, everybody. So let's all sing This Little Light of Mine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Everywhere I go, everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Everywhere I go, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. All around the world, all around the world, I'm gonna let it shine.
favorite and works so beautifully with our talk today, our talk title. So thank you both, Ronnie and Ed. We appreciate you. Okay, I'm going to hand the screen over to Jan now. She has our announcements, inspirational reading. Thank you, Jan. We love you.
Oh my goodness. That was great, Ronnie and Ed. It brings back all kinds of memories of Bible camp and Sunday schools, Sunday school. And welcome everyone. Happy Easter. It's wonderful, glorious Easter morning here in Northern California. And I'd like to just start with a few announcements. The first, Amy has already announced that we will not be having our workshop today. Instead, I invite you to enjoy your time with your family and friends, or just by yourself contemplating transformation. So if you do want to come in, our link is always open though if you want to connect. So that's the first announcement. And then next week, mark your calendars for next Sunday, and we will see you all in person at the West Island Room at the Antioch Community Center. Remember to bring your recyclables. Remember to bring your donations of food and financial donations for loaves and fishes. It's always an important part of our first Sunday of the month when we gather. And coming up Saturday, May 18th, which is a couple months away, but it's time to start planning for it, is our 10th annual yard sale. So start cleaning out your closets and your garages and save your donations of clothing, small furniture, household items, etc. No books or large furniture. And be vigilant, because May will be here before you know it. So we're sending out a huge heartfelt thank you to all of you who are continuing to support the Van Ling Family Fund each month. And we send much love and gratitude to you all for your contributions. Also, if you have not done so already, we would like to invite you to consider setting up your monthly contribution commitment to our community, perhaps sending it automatically via Zelle or PayPal or by check. You know that it's your contributions that provide the revenue for speakers and musicians, our spiritual director, Amy, our rental space, our storage unit, our celebrations, and all the other activities that we offer each month. So we are very, very, very grateful for all you give and how you bless us with your time and your talents and your contributions. Thank you so much. And thank you all for keeping your calendars up to date, and for reading the weekly connection, and for participating in all of our wonderful activities throughout the month. So I would invite you to consider bringing a friend along to one of our events that you're coming to in person or online. Just let's get involved and continue to be involved. So I send you blessings and have a wonderful Easter and a wonderful week coming up. So now for our inspirational reading for Easter. And our journey, like Amy said, our journey with Jesus this is the last day of our focus on that theme, perfect day. And I have selected an excerpt from an Easter sermon by Reverend Scott Aubrey. And he has one of my favorite websites called spiritualpassages.org. I'm so grateful. I read this all the time. He sends out inspirational quotes and humorous jokes and all kinds of things. So I love this website. And this one is called Rising Above It All. Rising Above It All. Resurrection isn't just about a prophet who lived 2,000 years ago. This is the story of you and me. Jesus was not the great exception. He was the great example. Easter is a time to look at ourselves and contemplate the divinity in us, the depths of our own innate God potential. Resurrection is about new beginnings, but there can be no resurrection without death. Diseases die when they give place to health. Poverty dies when it gives way to abundance. Unhappiness passes into oblivion with the new birth of joy and happiness. To die to one experience and be resurrected to a larger experience is spiritual fulfillment. Life has an irresistible urge to expand, and we can follow that divine pattern by trading old experiences for new, by passing from death into a greater life. Here is the bottom of the Easter story. The bottom line: you are divine. No matter what you have thought of yourself, no matter what you have done in your life, no matter what opinions you or others may have had of you, no matter how you've crucified yourself, you are divine. The excellence of you is eternal, ageless, and deathless. It's the part of you that is perfect even when you are having imperfect experiences. It's the part of you that knows just what to do even when you're facing confusion and fear. It's the part of you that can never be alone, never be harmed, violated, or endangered in any way. It is the God self in you. So rise up, and as it says in the spiritual text, awake thou that sleepest, and Christ shall shine through thee. Thank you.
Beautiful reading for us, Dan. Thank you for the announcements and that. I love this. Life has an irresistible urge to expand. Isn't that beautiful? I know that Jan has copies of these, so if you would like one, just go ahead and email me, Amy Vanling at unityinspiredliving.org, and I will get you a copy. Thank you, Jan, for bringing that to us. I am going to hand the screen back over to Ronnie and Ed this morning for our next song. Thank you both so much.
So for today, since we have our ukes out, we're gonna do a couple Hawaiian favorites. Okay, here goes. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Ooh, someday I wish upon a star, wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like lemon drops high above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way up high. And the dreams that you dream of, why can't I?
Yay. Thank you. Such a favorite, such a joyful favorite, and such a reminder, it is a wonderful world. And because life's always working in our favor, and we remember that, and it's even more wonderful. Thank you both for bringing that joy to us. Felt appreciated, grateful. Okay, I'm handing the screen back over to Jan now, and she has our prosperity blessing this morning. Thank you, Jan.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Ronnie and Ed. I love that combination I love the way you do that. It was just perfect for today. Thank you so much. All right, everyone, I invite you now to join me as we move into a space of oneness with spirit. So take a deep breath, a deep healing breath. And as we quiet our minds, when we open to the great realization of an abundant universe, we connect with an inner stillness that is grounded in the divine flow of giving and receiving. We practice gratitude for all that life gives us and accept there is more, oh, so much more, coming our way. We align and operate from our divine nature to give freely from a compassionate heart to ourselves and others, assured that we are never void. We set our intention to engage in right action that attracts opportunities to prosper. We are each very, very grateful, and we are in a grateful spirit expanding in this human life. We are gratefully succeeding in stepping forward into our greater good, and so it is.
Thank you so much, Jan. Just, that vibration of gratitude is so potent. It's just so expansive and so transforms everything. So thank you for taking us into that space of gratitude and abundance. I'm going to hand the screen back to Ronnie Ed now for some more music, more uplifting, and everybody's singing along at home. So we're really enjoying. Thank you both.
So this song is called He Aloha Mele. It's an aloha song. He aloha mele. Aloha mele, Elohe kamakani. Gentle breeze, whispering haunting melodies to you softly. Whisper to you softly. Hear the winds through the trees singing sweet harmony to you softly. With the grace of her hand, she can tell you that a star only glitters at the setting of the sunset. With the grace of her hand, she can tell you that the wind only blows when no mountainside is there to touch her. Now the sun and the moon talking stories, telling tales about a new day. It's gonna be a nice day. Now the moon shining bright and the sun will rise again to start a new day. With the grace of her hand, she can tell you that the star only glitters at the setting of the sunset. With the grace of her hand, she can tell you that the wind only blows when no mountainside is there to touch her. Now the sun and the moon talking stories, telling tales about a new day. It's gonna be a nice day. Now the moon shining bright and the sun will rise again to start a new day. Hey, aloha mele.
Aloha mele,
Hey, aloha mele.
aloha mele.
Hey, aloha mele.
Excellent. Fantastic. Thank you for bringing us the aloha this morning. We love it. We embrace it. We receive. Thank you. Thank you so much, Ronnie and Ed. We are so grateful for you both. And Jan, thank you for being here with us this morning and everyone tuning in on this beautiful Easter morning. We are just so blessed by you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having said yes to us today. We're grateful. I will see you on this side of the broadcast, the morning fun. Mwah. Blessings to you all. Thank you. Yay! I'm here with Wendy. I'm so excited. I see everybody tuning in. Thank you for all of the energetic exchange online here. I see your comments. Bonnie's here. Yes, a new day. Thanks for the freshness, Bonnie and Robin. Yay, everybody. Thank you. I see you here. Thank you for all the love that you're pouring in to our morning, to our space. It matters. It makes a difference. It's potent. So for those of you just getting to know Reverend Wendy, I have her bio to read to you and share a little bit more about her. Wendy Silvers is a sought-after mama wisdom teacher, minister, spiritual midwife, author, and sacred activist. For the past 18 years, that I think is a bigger number now. This needs an update. Not like 20 something years. She has been immersed in serving moms, children, and families through trauma-informed, heart-centered parenting. Reverend Wendy believes that a woman steeped in her immense value as sovereign being helps to raise a nation that cherishes the women and children. Powerful. Wendy co-created Prayer as a Way of Life, prayer class at Agape International Spiritual Center, co-authored an international best-selling book, Balance for Busy Moms, and founded the Million Mamas Movement, an organization devoted to the empowerment of mothers and ensuring that all mothers and children thrive. She produces international prayer events, docuseries, town halls, film screenings, and rallies. Wendy braids her intuitive medium abilities, publicity skills, and trauma informed training with new thought principles to help people awaken spiritually and cultivate a life of peace, purpose, and prosperity. She has done so much. She shares so many stages with prominent world changers, leaders, and she has so much going on. So I encourage you to find her on Facebook, her website, and follow her and tune into what she's doing. We are so grateful to have you here with us, Wendy. I'm going to activate the space, pray us in, and then hand over the screen for our message this morning, which is a beautiful, potent rise and shine. So I invite you now just to find your center. Take yourself into that sacred space, breathing in the spirit, deeply participating in the divine, energetic flow and unfoldment of your life, allowing the light of God to shine in through and as you, reminding you of the truth. But the truth is constant. It's divine intelligence. It's God mind. And as we lean into this deep knowing, we remember, we we recognize the truth, the inspired action, ignite and resurrect the divinity, the spark of God that we are experiencing in this moment, in all of our moments. So grateful to be surrounded and immersed in this magnificence. So grateful and thankful to open ourselves, to receive the love, to hear and feel Wendy's divine download for us today. We cover her in our blessing, our love, and our gratitude, saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And I release this word into the great expanse of divine love, in love, where it is all magnified and multiplied. And we affirm, and so it is. Ashe, namaste. Thank you, dear Reverend Wendy. We're so grateful for you.
I love you.
Love you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So I just want to say hello to everyone. Aloha. Thank you so much, Ronnie and Ed. Oh my God. I'm like, woo, I'm like dancing over here, singing. So beautiful. And for that blessing, Jan. Thank you for what you read from spiritual passages. And dearest Amy, thank you for holding this magnificent space as you do and for creating a place where people can come and receive the mana, receive the goodness of this presence. And it's so fascinating to me because there's something about being in high consciousness, right? Being in a community where there's a dialogue and there's a field that's been established, like you established. And so I was thinking, I was sitting over here, I'm like, okay, well, the message has been delivered. Okay. And so it is. And so it is, right? Because what we're speaking about, to me, Easter and Passover and Ramadan, what we're talking about are miracles. It's all a miracle. And the scripture, I remember one of my biblical scholar teachers said that the Bible was a journal of the Near Easterners. So this was a journal, and it was literal, but not factual. So Yeshua, as he was called in his native Aramaic, didn't speak Western English. He spoke Aramaic and Hebrew. So we, in this year of 2024, we have received all of these different interpretations of what this great master teacher taught us or shared from these personal experiences, especially in the Old Testament, of these people moving through these life lessons of heartbreak and tragedy to move to the other side. So when I think about one of the things that she said to me is she said that Jesus was at the Passover Seder. So the sacred dinner was a Passover Seder, and he died and woke up Christian. And so if we think about the etymology and we think about the beginning and we think about this way shower, as was so beautifully articulated, that he is not the exception, he is the example. We get to think about what is the message from all of the sacred texts, from Easter, from Passover. There's still Ramadan is ending. What is the message? And to me, what dropped in so clearly is the message is about miracles. Where are there miracles in your life? Where have you symbolically gone through a crucifixion? Right? So we think about the literal, which is brutal, and what happened to this man of being put on a cross and nails through his wrists and his ankle. I mean, it was just brutality. And then where in your life have you had a crucifixion? I know for me, I've had a number of them. I can remember a time when I was literally on my knees in my kitchen when I lived in Manhattan. I'm from New York, native New Yorker. So I was in there and I was going through a really bad relationship. And I was on my knees and I was just praying, okay, God, I need help because I can't do what I need to do for myself. I need divine intervention. I had I had lost my job. I was going through all of these very big life passages, looking at my life, thinking, where am I going to go? Has anybody had that moment when you're literally on your knees? Right? Right? I know, Amy, what you've been through in this past, year. It's just, and those moments, Rumi says, when the world brings you to your knees, it is you are in a perfect position to pray. But what's the prayer? What's the prayer that is being prayed in this moment of crucifixion? Heal me, show me the way, help me rise up. And that's in consciousness. Because as Einstein said, you cannot solve a problem at the level of the consciousness that created the problem. And in our world, you can see the divisiveness. You can see that people are warring. They're going to match, calamity with calamity. They're going to match violence with violence. They're going to match quip with quip. They're going to make somebody wrong, bad and wrong. They're going to give as good as they got. Dr. Howard Thurman talks about in I Want to Be More Loving in My Heart. And he says to move beyond giving as good as I've gotten. Right? So when we think about the Easter holiday, or we think about Ostra, which back in the day, the original day when the women was matriarchal societies and the women were honoring the seasons, Ostra was the goddess of rebirth, of renewal, of the spring, Oestre. You can look it up. So we think about this world where everybody's talking about patriarchy, the end of patriarchy. Well, what about internalized patriarchy, where we are crucifying ourselves? One of my biggest growing edges is self-love, is letting go of the bat that I have on my back, right? So we can know spiritual principle. We can know spiritual truth. The miracle is to be moved from that place of crucifixion. So that was just one crucifixion in my life where I was moved. I was moved. I did rise up. I did have psychic change and a shift in consciousness. But I was up for it. I was so on my knees. I'm so done with this. I do not want to repeat this pattern ever. And yet, I think I did. at other times, right? So it's the miracle is, can I remember who I am, that I am a divine being here to reveal and reflect the glory of this divine presence, whatever name you call this presence, through the release of those patterns that no longer serve me, as well as the releasing into the world those gifts, those skills, those talents that I have. How can I be that power of example? How can I lean in to God? How can I resurrect myself from the ashes of my life? I cannot tell you how many times I've had ashes in my life, right? And I happen to be, my sun sign is Scorpio, and Scorpio is about life and death. Lucky me. But right, it's like, what an experience. So I'm brought to the depths of despair, only to rise like the phoenix, because I'm here to live the miracle. I am here to reveal and reflect the glory of God through and as my very life, through all that I do. I think all the time, how am I being of service? How will this serve? There was a time when I was so ill. I was given a diagnosis, and I had a health condition that I still, that I have a loss of hearing in my left ear, and I have to do certain things to make sure that my energy is pristine. There was a time that I didn't drive. There was 3 times in my life I didn't drive for a year, I didn't drive for 6 months, I didn't drive for 3 months. That was my own personal crucifixion, because I can tell you, I was on my knees asking the God of my understanding, is this what I'm here for? Is this what I was here for? I just can't believe that I'm here not to be able to be present for my life, for my marriage, for my child, that I'm going to this doctor and that healer and this person. But it was about me rising. I was brought to my knees. Many times I was brought to my knees. And when you looked at me, right? Anybody have I gotta look good syndrome? Always gotta look good. Don't let them see you sweat. Don't put your business out in the street. Anybody receive those messages? I got to do it all myself. I can't lean into anyone else, because if I lean into anyone else, then I'm weak. I'm not really a spiritual, evolved person if I'm sick, or if I have a prognosis, or if I ask someone to help me. But insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. So here we are at Easter. Here we are, the opportunity to rise up and shine your light. So how do you rise up when you're in the crucifixion? It's about surrender. We talk about the jealousy and envy. We talk about shame and self-judgment, right? What about pride? Where does pride come into it, right? So I think pride and shame ride shotgun, because pride is, I'm going to do it myself. I'm not going to ask anyone for help. I have degrees. I've lived life a long time. I've done some things. I know some people. I got this. I'm not going to admit that in certain situations, I don't have the answers. So humility is the ability to be teachable. So if you're moving through your life and there's any situation that you may have, I know I can think of a few in my life where I do not have the answers. I want the answers. So I do my work, my inner work, because suffering is not mine or your soul path. We are all going to go through shizzle. It's just, it's like the fine print. And if you are studying with somebody or following somebody who doesn't share about the shizzle, but only talks from the mountain, which creates more shame and self-judgment, right? How come I'm not up there? Suffering is optional. Yes, trials and tribulations will happen. The ashes, they're going to happen. The crucifixion is going to happen. So we have this great man, this great, extraordinary human who said, I know why I'm here. I'm here to bring forth love and compassion, who talked about forgiveness. He'd never talked about holding a grudge. He never walked around saying, oh, yeah, well, that so-and-so, that Pharaoh, that person, they did that. He didn't talk about that. He talked about turn the other cheek. Do you know what that also means? Have a different consciousness. Turn the other cheek. Don't stay in that vibratory frequency of anger and grudge and resentment. Where's forgiveness? Give forth. Let that person go. Forgive that situation. Forgive yourself. You know how people used to joke about let yourself off the cross, right? So it's kind of blunt, right? It's a hard image, let yourself off the cross. But I know that many of you that are here with us today care deeply about the world, care deeply about what we're living in. And we are living in an amazing time. I mean, like, no joke. And the opportunity is to rise and shine your light. There are so many images throughout the Bible about the light, the effulgence within each person, the light. Yeshua talks about the light. So now we get to a point. So we've had the crucifixion. We're in it. We're on our knees and we're willing to rise up again and again. And still I rise. And still I rise. Because it's not how many times you stumble or fall. It is how many times do you rise up? How many times do you get up after a weary night and make breakfast for the children? How many times do you get up from something and hug someone and say, I see you, brother. I see you, sister. I'm with you. You're not alone. How many times do we look in the mirror and say, I love you? I love you because you are walking through the crucifixion. So this man gave us, he gave us a way. He gave us the way, the truth, and the light. I know people say the life, but the light that lighteth up every man, woman, and child who cometh into this dimension. We're talking consciousness. In my Father's house, there are many mansions. There's many levels of consciousness. As we see evidence of in the external events that are happening in our world, the highest of consciousness and the lowest of consciousness. And it's not a judgment, it's an observation. It's we see, how does that land on us when we see what's happening, the things that just break our heart open personally, like what Amy's been going through. This is one of the deepest passageways. So you rise up, you hid with Christ. It's not religious. It's a state of enlightenment. Again, the light, the Christ. To be enchristed is to be enlightened. I have to tell you something. I did not know until 1999, maybe it was 1999, that Yeshua was Jewish, that he was a rabbi. I never knew that. I've been on a spiritual path since I'm 8, but I didn't know that. So here we talk about unity. We're at Unity Inspired Living Center. One of my favorite people talks about healing the divide. How do you heal the divide? You have a man who was a rabbi who followed spiritual texts when he went those 40 days, those 40 nights into the desert, into consciousness, to expand his consciousness. When he went to all of the sacred places, he went to Egypt, he studied the sacred teachings. He had the crucifixion, and then he became the symbol of Christianity. But how do you deny that he was Jewish? That he practiced Judaism, that he practiced the sacred teachings of many different faiths? That's unity. We can stop fighting about that now. We could really do that. We could just say we are all connected in the heart. We are here to shine the light of the Christ, the light of the enlightenment. And what does shine stand for? Spirit, harmony, inspiration, breathing in, right? So when we are born, we enter on a breath. We cry. When we exit, we exhale. And in between is the dash. How are we going to live from the inhalation to the exhalation? We get to shine. Spirit, harmony, inspiration, new thought. Have a new thought. Just like Einstein, you can't solve the problem at the level of the consciousness that created the problem, so you have a new thought. And then E, evolve. So we are given this great life, and I know personally what it's like to go through those crucifixions. So I know if you're going through a crucifixion period right now, you're going to get through it. It's not your destination. Many times it's an entry point to an up-leveling of your consciousness. So it is not to be denied or dismissed or disregarded. It's just not your final resting place, because you are meant to be resurrected. You are meant to rise up and shine. Spirit, harmony, inspiration, new thought, evolve. Not deny, dismiss, disregard, ignore, pretend. We are so done with the pretending, yes? Like we are so done with acting like this isn't happening. We get to look at what's in front of us and make a choice. And then another choice. Sometimes the only choice is to take a shower, to change your clothes, to wash your face, to make breakfast or lunch or dinner for the children, to walk the dog, to pray, to let go of thinking that things are always going to be this way. It is to have that resurrection. I am the resurrection. I am the resurrection. I am what the moment required. I am that I have come that you may have life and have life more abundantly. The kingdom of heaven is within. I am. I am the resurrection. What are you resurrecting in your life right now? Where is your life hid with Christ, the enlightened? I think I'm shaking my computer. So my invitation to you this day of Easter, which celebrates a miracle, a miracle. This man was entombed and he rose again. This great man who would walk over to people and say, rise, rise, and they would rise, who could heal because it was consciousness, because he had no other thought, but I and my mother, father, God are one. He steeped himself in spiritual principle, but he was also human enough to know when there was injustice. He was the Prince of Peace. So today, I invite you to look at your life, to see where you're in the crucifixion. What needs to be resurrected? Is it your consciousness? We are transformed by the renewing of our minds. We are the only mammals that have dominion over our thoughts. Choose ye this day whom ye shall serve, God, the great divine presence, or this mortal experience. Not denying or dismissing what shows up. What am I here to resurrect? Shine my light. I am the light of the world. That's not egotistical. That's the truth, the light that lighteth up every man, woman, and child that cometh into this world. And the opportunity for continual growth and unfoldment, your soul's growth and unfoldment, is right where you are. Right where you are. So you get to rise and shine. You get to rise up. You get to awaken again and again and again. I've been teaching this magnificent morning. I call it the Morning Mystic Mastermind. And we started with 40 days into the desert. We meet every morning from 7:30 to 8 a.m. It is a meditative, prayerful, inspirational, setting your day or resetting your day. And now it's called Awaken, because it's not a one and done. Even though Yeshua came into this dimension, and after those 40 days, he had further proof, further steeping of what he was here for, his mission. He didn't stop. So that's why it's called spiritual practice. So wherever you are in your life, if you're in the resurrection, if you're slowly emerging from the ashes, I just invite you to rise up and shine your light, the light of the divine that is within you, and lean in to those people that love you, that see who you truly are, that want your highest and greatest good, that don't stifle you or suppress you or tell you you think too big. They think too small. Remember, you don't bring your problems to a small God. You bring your big God to your problems. Whatever's showing up in your life that you are seeking healing around. So This is a day of miracles. Miracles are a shift in perception. Miracles are around you all the time. I invite you to rise up and shine your light. And if I may do a very quick lasered prayer. My heart is overflowing with gratitude and thanksgiving for this opportunity to be here this morning at Unity Inspired Living, to be with my beloved sister, my soul sister, Amy, to be with Jan, and to be with Ronnie and Ed, and the beautiful vibration of music, to be with each and every person who has said yes to being here on Facebook at this particular time in history, as we celebrate the miracle of this day, Easter, this invitation to remember this great man, this great master teacher, this great example, this great way shower who moved through the resurrection from his crucifixion. So we honor wherever anybody in this group is in a crucifixion moment, knowing that their resurrection is at hand and that the invitation to rise up and shine your light is there. It has been issued, and you have an opportunity to RSVP yes. So knowing that each and every person gathered in this sacred circle is held, is loved, I simply call forth peace and peace of mind. I call forth abundance, prosperity, health, wholeness, vitality. I call forth love, pressed down and overflowing. And I call fulfillment, filled full with good, filled full with God, filled full with love. And knowing that that is so, I simply allow that to be, saying, and so it is. Amen. Ashe. Aho. Mahalo. It is done. Amen.
Amen. Wow. Beautiful. And as you were speaking, I'm thinking, yeah, and Jesus was such the example of being merciful and moving with grace through such crucifixion and forgiveness, just exuding forgiveness. Forgive them, Father,
For they know not what they do.
right? Yeah. And what mercy. It's such a beautiful story. It's such a beautiful lesson for us. And you brought it so to home, to heart. And one of the last things you said, I jotted down because it was really important. And you said it quickly. So I wanted to come back, and you said, bring the thing, whether you're calling that a problem or whatever it is, bring the thing to God. Bring what's bothering you to God, and not necessarily, I'm sorry, bring God to the thing versus bringing the thing to God. Bring God into that. That's a difference.
Yeah.
It's a really profound difference. And important, I thought, to just kind of circle back to and just touch on, because it's a different energy entirely to say, bring God into this space versus here, this is,
Well,
So,
yeah.
wow, go ahead.
Well, we often, myself included, can have a very limited perspective of what God is, right? In 12-step circles, they talk about the God of your understanding, not the God of your misunderstanding. Mm. And so oftentimes, depending on people's religious upbringings, there can be a God who is fire and brimstone, who's sitting up there like Santa Claus, checking off, you've been naughty, you've been nice, I'll give you love, I won't give you love, you can have that, oh no, but you can't have that. And so it's this perception of this very small presence that's
Conditional, right?
Always conditional. So when we begin to grow and evolve, we decide, it's a decision. Every day we get to, sometimes several times a day, we get to decide again and again, whose are we? A God that is so limited that we have to keep over and over again trying to, win God's approval, which sets up behaviors and patterns and thoughts that are so hurtful. Or are we going to move into that expanded awareness of a loving God, a compassionate God, a God that wants our highest and greatest good to be fulfilled, not to stay in the vision stage, but to be concretized. And that God speaks through people. And at the very center of our being is that God place. So we were never disconnected unless we step away.
Right. And fall prey to the illusion of separation.
And
And
sometimes
we do.
the we do, and sometimes the prayer, sometimes it is like, help me,
Mm,
right? Why me doesn't really, that's never going to give us an
mm,
answer, like
mm,
why,
mhm,
but help
mhm.
me to have a different perspective, help me in this moment.
Right.
And then that's where people that love us come in so they can love us till we love ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
till we're able
Yes.
to get back up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the Course in Miracles talks about this. Jesus says, I want to be alongside of you. I want to partner with you. Just call me in, and sometimes we forget that spot in life. Like, oh yeah, let me call it in. Let me
Well,
ask.
I think you were talking about the time, how we changed the time, how it used to be for
Yeah,
farming,
earlier before we went live. Yes.
right? Well, if you think about the life changes that have happened and the evolving generations, if you think about, there was that even though people were devoutly religious with the
Mhm,
conditions, right?
mhm,
There was this work ethic that went along with it. Like if you
mhm,
think of the native peoples, the first peoples, it was about community, not exclusion, but it was about community. You went to this person for this, and this person did this, and this person did this, and each and every person had a purpose. Just like when animals were killed, were hunted, each part of the animal had a purpose.
right.
But the
Right.
Western mind, the American, do it myself, excluded anybody.
Yeah.
And it was competitive, or, it's just mine, territorial. Native American peoples didn't think like that.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
Yeah.
and there was war between different tribes, but the whole basis of Native American, of course, I'm doing a circle, and it's just like the spirit. It's just like in spiritual passages, this presence, who's, birthless, deathless, changeless, formless, whose circumference is everywhere.
Right.
We get to move into that, to allow people to be there, to allow us to be there, to receive when someone
Mhm.
wants to give us love. I mean, it's a whole nother conversation,
Right.
there's boundaries and limits and all that kind of stuff.
These have
But
lots of different pathways off of this.
right, but I'm talking about in the in
Yeah.
the in the God sense,
Yes.
in the
Yes.
God sense. So,
Right. Right. Very important. Wow. Let me just poke in here to our feed and see um, lots of comments. Thanks, Carol, for being a part and sharing your uh, energy with us. Awaken this day of miracles. Thank you so very much, Reverend Wendy, for sharing this powerful message with all of us. So grateful. That's from Jennifer. Jan says, remembering a quote I had on my refrigerator for many years, don't belittle yourself, be big yourself. You rise and shine. Thank you so much, Wendy. Luinda says, very inspirational and comforting message. Wendy inspires me to feel hopeful.
oh,
Um, Carol says, whose are we? Expanded awareness. Yes. Jan says, rise and shine and bring God the glory. Glory brings such deeper meaning and interpretation to the song from my childhood. Yes, doesn't it? Right? You got to talk when it's your story or your glory.
oh, I love
Here's,
that.
remember the glory story. Pat says, you are one with God. Align your thoughts with the higher goodness and truth in order to bring love into the world. Carol says community. Yes. What am I here to resurrect? Yeah, that was one of the last things I jotted down that Wendy had written or had spoke to, is, where are you in the crucifixion? So we can be contemplating this. And what is, wanting to be resurrected? What am I here to resurrect? And there's so many beautiful micro messages in this overall message. So you probably want to go back and listen to this one again. This is probably a replay one, definitely. Because it really spoke to, something that Jan had read in the reading earlier about life has an irresistible urge to expand. And this is like the process. The talk is like, and how does that look? And to rise up and in consciousness. Living beyond is good. I like how you brought in the Ostera, the goddess, honoring the seasons of rebirth. And you said, where was it that I wrote down? You said something that was pretty significant too about where in our mind are we internalizing patriarchy. I thought that was a good something to contemplate there too. There's so many nuggets in here. And we could really really dive deep. And this is what we're all about, is like, so that you can tune into what's coming up for you and where you are, and if you're in the ashes, if you're right where you are in the whole scene of this Jesus story particularly. And again, like, it's not a one and done, right? We always get the opportunity to continue expanding, and that's
Yes.
the great gift
Yeah.
of this
Yeah. The
life.
gift that keeps on giving, because
Yeah,
life is always seeking more of itself, not
right. Where did you
less.
that Howard Thurman is, you probably know it right off the top about what he said about,
Which one?
I know that's right, which one, and I wrote it down because I was like, oh, I love him.
Be more loving in my heart,
I love
not
him.
to
Just
give it.
about being beyond. Well, I have written so many
One of
notes
my
here.
favorite, one of my, not giving as good as you get, that you, yeah, not giving. And one of the things that I love that, thank you, Dr. Thurman. I hope that it's okay
I
with you,
know.
but I love you talk about the traffic of life, because he
Mm,
talks about the traffic of life, the comings and goings,
yeah,
right?
he's
That we
brilliant.
have.
Yeah,
So we're in the traffic of life.
we
If
are.
we're in the crucifixion and or we're in the resurrection, it's in the traffic of life.
Yeah,
We don't want to get caught by the traffic of life, by, social media and the opinions. You want to go beyond. Life is always seeking more of itself. That's why we have the crucifixion and the resurrection. That's why we rise up, because there's
right.
always more that's seeking expression.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
we get to choose in every moment, the consciousness, the vibration, our frequency. I mean, we are frequency. That's how we show
right,
up.
right.
And what we want to sort of get into the muck and mire of the world, of appearances and opinions and judgments and divide, or right,
Right. One of
come
the things
into.
that I remember so much, one of my teachers was this man named Nirvana. And when I was first going through practitioner training at Agape, I mean, it was like very, like, first year or something. And he talked about his past work, and he worked with the county with family child services. And so sometimes there would be cases that would, come across his desk. And the one thing he said to me that I always remembered was, first I cried and then I prayed.
Mm,
So throughout
feel
my
that.
journey at growing, as a student and then as a teacher, I never forgot that.
Mm,
First I cried and then I prayed.
mm. It's beautiful,
So
really.
when you go through the crucifixion,
Hmm.
you may cry.
Yeah.
There may be gnashing of teeth. There
Hmm.
may be like holding the head. There may be so many variables of how that shows. And then the
Hmm.
resurrection,
Right.
rising from those ashes to be
Yes.
requalified, to have
Yes.
another experience, to have another layer released and another level increased.
Right. It's rather exciting when you
Yeah, it
think
just,
about it, you know, like in the crucifixion, yeah, it can be absolutely agonizing. And yet we hold on to what we know is true.
and
And
it's hard.
yeah, and I
I
think
mean, in the
that's really
human
important.
experience, it's, you can have, I want to also say, you can have this knowledge,
Yeah,
and when you go through it, you go through it.
right,
It's when you get to the other side, or even
right.
those glimpses, right? Like those glimpses, the things that happen when you're going through something, the
Mm-hmm.
loss of a loved one.
Mm-hmm.
And you have moments when you're feeling good. Oh my gosh, all of a sudden you're feeling good, you're laughing, and then you have that back thought that goes, "Oh, but
Mm-hmm.
is that okay?"
I've said through my, most recent experience, I can hold both. You know,
Right.
it's
Exactly.
okay to hold both. And I've been, and we spoke about this at the top, was like being real about our experiences is not always just doing this bypass and, sugarcoating stuff. It's like sometimes we walk through hell,
We,
and we rise from those ashes. And it's such an important message to be authentic and real about. And
I agree.
um, I know this community knows I'm for sure about that authenticity and bringing people who, like Wendy, who are so authentic as well into our space. So thank you, Wendy. Can you tell everybody where to find you?
Oh
Where
yeah.
they
Oh my gosh. Yes. I forgot. I was like, okay, bye. So
know.
you can email hello at Wendy Silvers, SILVERS.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Rev Wendy Silvers. Facebook, I have Rev Wendy Silvers and Wendy Silvers. Uh, if you want to join the Awaken journey, feel free to just reach out after this, or PM me or DM me, and I'm here for you. I'm here. I do one-on-ones. I speak. I do groups, speaking and teaching. So I'm
Thank
here.
you, beautiful Wendy. We're so grateful for you and your presence on this earth and for being here
Oh,
present with us this morning, this Easter morning. Thank
I
you,
love you.
everybody, for being here, for tuning in, for the sacred yes to nourish your soul. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Remember that if you feel this refresh, this restoration, this renewal, and you wish to have an energetic exchange with us, just visit our website, unityinspiredliving.org, and look at our giving page. And we are so grateful for all of the energy that you pour into us. It creates a space where we can keep giving and giving from our hearts, which we love to do. We are going to close with our prayer of divine awakening. So I'm going to share the screen right now with you. And I invite you into make this a declaration for your life, for your everyday, an activation, really. Yeah, an invocation. It's a new day, a beautiful day, a new beginning. I embrace this day with new eyes, an open heart, an expansive mind. I choose my vibrational frequency deliberately and consciously, harmonizing with life's events. I am receptive to source energy, divine guidance and wisdom available to me at all times. I commit to serve unconditional love fully and completely. I move forward in a state of appreciation, an extension of the one magnificent power and presence. I am sovereign, whole, and free, claiming dominion over my life as I go in peace and awaken to my divinity. And so it is. And as I say every Sunday, but it really is potent and works for this Sunday, is shine on, bright beings of love. Shine it, shine it, shine it. Thank you, Reverend Wendy. We love you. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Mwah.
Thank you.
Blessings, blessings, everybody. Happy Easter. Mwah.